Hi everyone, welcome to the second of our series on skills, which is about building in-house. So how do we address the skills gap of our new joiners in our business not having the right set of skills to really be high performers within a business, and then looking at what are the techniques and what are the things we need to do to build in-house. And I'm joined today by Leatham, who's Transformation Director at Oracle and focuses on the public sector. So Leatham, what's the answer? Building in-house. What's the context of this, and how do we achieve this?
Well, it's probably a couple of things that I'll share with Tom in terms of what we can do immediately to start addressing and plugging the gap. First of all, especially as we kind of get into that area of dealing with efficiency, productivity, training budgets, that area of investment often gets a quick hit in terms of reducing it. And that is something that really, as an HR profession and community, we've got to make sure we safeguard. Reduce that at your peril. Yeah?
But to do that, one has got to draw the context of what it's going to achieve for the business. Effectively, it's a business case for skills development within an organisation. And that's hard to do, right? Because you're talking about outcomes which could be some distance in the future.
Yeah, and therefore we've got to be able to use the research and evidence which is out there about the skills which we know we have a shortage in. The digital skills, the inter and intrapersonal skills, leadership skills.
Yeah.
Use that to draw into your business. If you want to be productive, sustainable and effective, we have got to address these things, and that requires some money and investment. Not only money, but also time investment. Allow people to be trained in flow, to actually encourage them to have greater kind of opportunities for work development, coaching, mentoring, support in the workplace. They're really critical things to do, and often that can be swallowed up in terms of day-to-day work pressures and not sufficient time giving and allocated to on-the-job working.
Right, so what we're talking about is taking the skills strategy and mapping, which we've all got in our HR strategies, etc., but then turning that into a skills development and acquisition plan, which is more like a business case because there's investment required to achieve that. Yes. So rather than it sitting up there where everyone says skills is important, it's actually saying why they're important, how they're important, and what contribution they make to the business.
Absolutely. The other thing I would attach to that is that we've got to do something different, because this skills challenge is not a new thing. So if we continue to do what we've done, we'll get the same output, and that is not good enough for us. We've got to shift it. We can see very clearly kind of this early feeder into the pipeline of the workforce, kind of our younger people coming into the workplace. We've got to do something to turn up the volume around apprenticeships, because currently apprenticeships are on the way, attracting young people into the workplace and developing those technical opportunities. So rather than having the only route I've got is to university and higher education and not a lot else. Historically we've had much more investment in terms of technical skills training, professional skills training, without having to go to university. So we've got to do something very clearly about that.
It is really interesting, isn't it? One of the things, my observations over the last year and a half is that I read the FT every day. Well, someone's got to read it, right? And I read it every day, and I've noticed that almost every business article has at least an HR dimension to the area they're talking about, and often a skills one. So this is on the agenda of the top tables of business, and we talk, I think in HR, we talk a lot about that skills development, but crystallizing into what it actually means and what we are doing about it is a tougher and less commonly addressed thing,
Absolutely. And you look at something like leadership development programs. I'm not saying that they haven't got a place in the workplace, but they're high cost and usually attached to very small numbers of people. And we know that this doesn't generate a shift of change of behaviour for the vast majority of leaders.
Right, but also that's not what I'm reading. I read about basic skills which are not in the marketplace. The businesses which are struggling to recruit the right people are not talking about often finding enough leaders. What they're talking about is finding enough people with the right set of skills to deliver the services which they need to deliver. I mean, if I look at public sector in particular, a lot of the struggles of delivering basic services are related to not having sufficient people with the right skills, I think.
Yeah, and that is attached back to what are we doing in the workplace to develop those and encourage them and enhance them. And we've got to be better at doing on-the-job training, coaching and mentoring on the job. If we know we're not going to be able to recruit from the marketplace, can we take people with the right qualities, attributes, abilities? So is there somebody there who's hungry to learn,
Yes.
and who's eager to be developed? Then we can actually apply really powerful on-the-job training techniques to help them. Also, and I go back to this concept of leaders. Leaders are really important because they set the tone and culture within a business, don't they?
Yes.
So are they lifelong learners themselves? Do they appreciate the
Right.
importance and significance of continual learning and development in the job? Or do you arrive in your place and destiny and think, well, I've made it,
Yes.
and therefore I don't need to be trained anymore? So therefore it becomes less important and significant down the food line.
Right. So the reason you're bringing up leaders is there is a critical role, which is to look at that in work, training, exercise, and that to be led from the top, even if the leaders is not our missing skill. The point is that they need to be demonstrating how development is critical within work. So I love that, and we're going to talk more in the next couple of broadcasts about how we bring that into action. So thank you, Leatham, and thank you everyone for joining us.